Okay.
I can take that.
So you already started it by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna do something goofy.
You're gonna do the.
No, I was actually gonna
go. Young man.
Dink, dink, dink,
No,
dink.
we can't be
Dink,
stealing
dink.
from other people, Amy.
But it would be funny. Think of that. Theft is hilarious, guys. Do it all the time, but not
You
really.
wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal somebody's purse.
That video.
But you wouldn't steal a movie. Piracy is theft, and piracy is illegal.
Is illegal.
Bow, wow, 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 bow, wow, wow, wow.
What movie did I know that played? In
Oh,
front
that
of, like,
played
a
like
lot of
a
movies.
lot of like.
Was that in front of School of Rock?
Well, there's in a lot of movies like around that time.
Yeah.
I think it depended on the. I wonder if it was like 21st Century, whenever they had a movie like that,
Oh yeah.
or like some other company, or Universal.
Yeah.
But piracy. That's what we're talking about today.
Nope.
Okay.
We're talking about with something that starts with a P though.
Okay.
We're talking about Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Woo woo!
Ooh.
Man, what a freaking movie. Like, I remember watching this movie all the time as a kid.
Yeah.
Whenever it popped up on like TV, or like we rented it from like the library or something. Do you remember renting movies from the library?
I do, but I don't remember renting this movie.
Oh, that movie. I feel like we rented that. No, we didn't usually rent it. I think.
No, I think I remember it mostly just like being on TV and Dad being like, "Oh, dude, let's watch it."
And then when DVR was a thing, and we would record it, and then I remember Mom saying this last night when we saw her. She was like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "I remember one day you just kept on playing it over and over and over." I'm like, "Yep, I remember that being a thing. It was like every day for like a week."
Yeah. Well, because I think they kept the recordings
Oh yeah.
like only for, I don't know if it was a certain time, or like if it would just like record over each other.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, before we get into the movie, do we want to talk about our drinks?
Sure.
My drink? My,
My
Diet Dr. Kelp?
Yeah. Oh, what the heck?
What? It's
So
a sticker?
Yeah, it's a sticker. I didn't know this
Yeah.
was a sticker. So today we spiced things up since we live in a place where there's a ton of soda places. We've gone to Swig, we've gone to Fizz, we've gone to Pop, and now we're going to Splash. We went to Splash today.
Hey, they're still racking them out because we're
Yeah.
getting like
We're getting Thirst, or is it?
we're getting like 3 other like new soda places.
Yeah.
Which is probably gonna have the same kind of drinks as all the other places.
Where
everyone's
where
just
everybody's
named
just
it
gonna-
slightly different, so it's not
Yeah.
copyright.
So instead of like Swig has the Dirty Dr. Pepper, I think Fizz has a Coca-Cola.
No, that's
I know.
I think
No,
that's
you can-
Splash.
No.
No. I
I
thought
think
Fizz was just a Dirty Doctor. A Dirty Doctor.
Well, there's the very bad doctor, the good berry doctor.
The Very Bad Doctor.
Oh yeah, it was
you
the
mean?
very bad doctor.
Anyways.
But every single one of these places has Dr. Pepper with coconut flavoring, and they just call it something different. Like even Maverick, like
they have
the
their
gas
own
station
syrups.
has their own syrups, and they're like, "Ooh, put this mixture together. This is what you call it," and
Yeah,
it's completely different.
I'm sure it's a lot cheaper than just like going to Swig and other places.
Oh yeah, I think honestly, Splash is probably the cheapest place.
Yeah,
Least convenient for me, but
yeah,
probably most convenient for you because it's closer to you.
yeah.
But yeah. But today we went to Splash.
What drink did you get?
Mine was called Serena's Paradise. It has the Rockstar lemonade
Ooh,
with raspberry puree and strawberry puree.
ooh. Can I
It's
try
dang
some?
good, yeah. I'm not gonna try yours because I've had yours before and I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think it's puree. It said that it was puree.
That's pretty good. Well, I also mixed it around, so I don't like puree, but the drink I got has puree in it, and I should have known.
Yeah.
But I got a fruit roll up, and
Yeah.
it's a peach monster.
Peach.
Or Rockstar.
It's peach mango Red Bull.
Oh, and then with strawberry
Oh no,
puree.
yeah. It's just a
I
peach
think-
Red Bull.
Yeah, I think it's peach Red Bull with strawberry puree and mango.
Yeah, that's.
Because there's definitely mango in here.
Yeah.
I should have just told him to switch out the puree for the syrup
Yeah.
so she's not chunky.
Well, let's sort of set the scene. We're in a new place today. Hayden's not with us, so we're recording in the car yet again.
God rest his soul.
Yeah. Hayden, I was gonna say
He's
let's
not
wish
dead,
him-
I promise.
He's not dead. He doesn't have a birthday. I think he's just spending the day with his wife, and that's totally respectable.
I'd like to spend a day with my wife too.
Mine as well. Okay. Well, welcome to the Average Joe Show, where we have the most likely of duos, the brother-sister combo of a lifetime. I'm Sam.
I'm Amy, and it took us 10 minutes to get to the intro of this. We
Well-
talked about what we're going to talk about today, and what drinks we have, and a little extra on the side.
And we didn't talk about how we're in a parking garage today,
Oh, yeah.
looking out at the city.
Yeah.
We didn't have to pay for this, so it's fine. Should we just get right into it, or just
Yeah.
talk about?
I'm going to explain what came about this. I mean,
Yeah, go for it.
so, I can't remember what year it was, but YMS, or Your Movie Sucks, on YouTube, a few years ago, he made a little thing where he made a video and then he invited all of his, he told his friends and said, oh yeah, anyone else can join too. And they did a series called Childhood Trauma, but they just talked about movies that scared them when they were kids. And just revisiting them and talking about them. So we're gonna do some of those.
We were also planning on talking about movies that we watched as kids and revisiting them,
Yeah.
and so that's why we're doing Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then later on we're gonna do Secret of Nim.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun watching it.
Yeah.
Because it was us and Hayden that watched it
Yeah.
together.
And then
It was so
and then our parents were there,
Mhm.
because we watched it over there.
Yeah.
Because they have the hookups.
Should we-
To do a little mini synopsis of what the movie is. So Pee-wee's Big Adventure is just a story about Mr. Pee-wee Herman, a wild, rambunctious young man.
He's he's one of those characters where it's it's a little it's an adult actor being acting like a little kid and them doing hijinks.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what who else does that.
Like,
Because I keep on thinking Mr. Bean, but he's not really like an adult human acting like a little kid. I don't know why I
he
had to
sort
put
of does.
human.
He's an adult doing childish antics.
That's true.
Same with like, what's his name? Steve from Blue's Clues.
Oh yeah, true.
Mr. Noodle from Sesame Street.
Mr. Noodle.
But yeah. So Pee-wee, he's always been like this. He's like there's like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
That was a show that he did.
Yeah, and he
it was like in the 80s.
Yeah.
I think they made the movie first and then the show came out after.
No, the show is
earlier.
Yeah, and even before he even did the show, I can't remember the comedian's name, like the guy who plays him. I keep on wanting to say
Paul Rubin.
Yeah, Paul Rubin.
Yeah.
He had Pee-wee as like a character for one of his comedy bits, and it got super popular that he turned it into like the TV show, and the TV show got popular.
Mm-hmm.
And
Paul Rubin and Phil Hartman both made this character. Paul Rubin just acted for him. I think Phil Hartman did more of the writing. He was also in this movie too. He was also in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He's just like a minor role, because I think it was just like a little cameo from him. But at the very end of the movie, when they're at the theater, or like what's it called? Like the drive-in? Yeah, the drive-in movie. When, what's his name? Francis. Oh, there he is. There's a picture you can... Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when Francis comes up, he's the first reporter that, like, talks.
Yeah, let's continue on with the synopsis. He has like this bike, which he cherishes the heck out of the bike.
Yeah.
And
that's his one and only love.
Yeah. He doesn't love Dottie. He hates Francis.
He's materialistic.
He likes Dottie. He just loves his bike more.
I mean, when she goes to... I mean, at the end when he's like, it's my bike, and she's also there, and he's like running up, and she thinks that he's gonna hug her, but then he goes for his bike immediately.
Well,
and she tries to kiss him, and he's like, don't touch me, please.
Well, because he's a child. All he wants is his bike, but also at the same time he's like, I like Dottie, but I like my bike more. But Pee-wee, he has this bike, and it's like the coolest bike in all the town. He's the best biker. Everybody in town's just like, whoa, he's pretty sick. All the kids wearing the dirt bike uniforms are just like,
God.
Whoa, Pee-wee, you're pretty cool.
I thought it was so funny when they first showed him. They're like, oh man, it's the cool guy with the cool bike. How's it going?
Yeah.
And then like Dottie comes out and she's like, I hate Pee-wee. And then all the boys are like, all right, have fun, Pee-wee.
Ooh, you do your thing. So Pee-wee has his bike stolen, and he assumes it's Francis, and come to find out it was Francis, because it was Francis's birthday, and his dad said he could get anything he wanted, and because Pee-wee didn't want to sell his bike to Francis used his money to pay off this guy to steal the bike.
But then he got shaken up by Pee-wee, and he's like, I don't want the bike anymore, just get rid of it.
Yeah, and then it sends
Which that was that scene when
we'll get to it.
Dude, Pee-wee's breakdown over his bike being gone is hilarious.
Well, we'll get to it. So Pee-wee, through his trauma of losing his bike, he searches for inspiration. That inspiration through a shady fortune teller takes him to the Alamo, and he has his little misadventures on the way to the Alamo, and then basically it takes him to Hollywood, and then he gets his bike. That's basically the story.
The whole story is Pee-wee loses his cool bike and tries to go and find it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
But Yeah, Pee-wee's fun. Like, it opens up, like, one of my favorite openings and probably the most memorable moment of the entire movie.
His dream where he's
Nope.
riding the Tour de France.
Oh, that's after that.
Yeah.
Who cares about
I
Pee-wee?
love how they did that dream sequence, like, with him waking up and, like, because, like, that whole scene, like, so he's riding his bike, he wins the race, and he's going up to, like, get a crown because he won.
Mhm.
And, like, right as they're putting the crown on his head, his alarm goes off, but so then all the people just start running away out of shot,
Mhm.
and then he wakes up. I like that. It's
That's
so
actually a pretty cool idea.
like, it's so simple, but it's so good.
Yeah. And then it goes to, like, my favorite part of the movie where it's just Pee-wee's breakfast making alarm
Mm-hmm.
with the
Yeah,
yeah.
classic song.
Very classic. And then it's just making his food, and then he talks to Mr. Breakfast. He's like, "Morning, Mr. Breakfast!"
I love how excited he gets because he's like, because Mr. Breakfast is just basically pancakes that have a face on it. He's just like, "Good morning, Pee-wee." He's like, "Good morning, Mr. Breakfast." like he can't contain it. It's so good. I love it.
Well, but that's how
I
he
love
is with
how-
everything. He's either like, "Good morning, Mr. Breakfast," or he's like, "I'm a loner. I'm a rebel."
It's so good. I remember at the beginning of the movie, like when they first introduced Francis, and like just their expressions are so good, and they both act like such little kids, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking Pee-wee being such a punk and being like, just let him ride the bike like once, at least share it a little bit.
No. I mean, Francis is the last person that deserves anything from Pee-wee.
Yeah.
But
They could have done a whole story arc where at like the beginning Pee-wee's like kind of selfish, or like he is selfish, being like, my bike,
my bike.
and then the end they could have had him be like a little more generous and being like, I'm gonna give back. But I guess they could have just been like, yeah, he did at the drive-in. He got a bunch of stuff for everyone.
Even a knife for
No, it was like a, what is it? Like it's like one of those like a file.
Oh, was it a
filer.
file?
Yeah, so then he can like do the classic thing of like sanding the bars down. That whole thing with them.
Should we
Okay,
just talk about
first-
all the random people that he meets?
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna go from the most boring one to like,
I
the most fun.
was gonna go into just
or just
order.
chronological. Yeah, we'll do that.
I'm just gonna pull up the Wikipedia so we don't.
Okay, I think at first he meets what's her name? Madame Ruby. She's the fortune teller that talks to him.
Yeah.
Which that is so
Okay, wait.
funny.
Wait. Actually, let's just talk about some of the random characters that he.
like
runs
the
into.
townspeople.
Oh yeah, like Chuck.
Dude, when they first introduced him, when Pee-wee, like, so his bike gets stolen, he goes into the bike shop because that's where he was just at, and that's where Dottie works. And he's like, Dottie, please, just, someone stole my bike, and he passes out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, what's it called? Paramedics, like, come check on him. And, like, what do they say? Like, are they like, oh, sir, are you the owner of this shop? And he's like, yes, I'm Chuck. Or like, yes, the store's named after me, Chuck's. And that's it.
Well, he's like, yeah, the sign says Chuck. That's me. I'm Chuck. It's just,
It makes me sit here and think, like, Like, with stuff like that, I'm like, oh, did they, did they just go to, like, a random bike shop named Chugs, and he was, the actual owner of the actual bike shop?
Yeah.
And that was, like, one of the way that they got their funds for the movie?
Yeah. Well, and other... That's where you also meet Dottie, and Dottie's just in love with Pee-wee for some reason.
She has such a nice voice.
Oh,
I love her voice.
She has a very distinct voice to her, and it's fun.
It's like a kind of raspy, kind of nasally voice.
Yeah, it's like a nerdy cowboy, nerdy cowgirl. I think. I have to think about it.
I don't think she has an accent.
Oh, like a southern accent?
Mm-mm.
I think she has a southern accent. It's whatever. We can keep on going.
Who else do we meet?
We
got Francis.
Yeah, we got Francis. This is before the great fight scene.
Oh my gosh.
But
so good. Francis is just a spoiled brat that's like, my father's rich and he said I can have anything for my birthday. And he also said that anything can be bought with a certain price.
Yeah. Pee-wee, that's not my impersonation of him. It's not supposed to sound like him, but this is supposed to be him. Yeah, I can. But Pee-wee.
You'll be sorry for that, Pee-wee.
Pee-wee. He always like enunciates Pee-wee, like he separates Pee-wee. 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 Pee-wee.
Oh man.
But some other, then you meet Francis, and Francis's dad, and the odd job looking
Is that the same actor though?
No, it's not. Dad was saying that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not him. It's just supposed to be somebody that looks like Odd Job.
Yeah, because he has like the same build as him.
Yeah, this short, stocky Asian man as like a butler or something, or a servant.
Yeah, he's like something like that. But he's so good too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he says any lines.
No, he says a couple. Because he's the one that answers the door. And he's like, Francis is having a bath right now. How are they gonna wash him, with a hose or something? Where are they gonna hose him down?
Where are they hosing him down? I love angry Pee-wee or unhinged Pee-wee. He's so good.
Yeah. Freaking. Where's some?
Oh man, Pee-wee's neighbor when he is like. The neighbor's
"Hey,
like,
Pee-wee."
"Oh, good morning, Pee-wee," and he's like, "Oh, hi, I'm gonna water my grass now," and he's like, "Okay," and shuts the window, water sprays everywhere, which is so good.
Pee-wee is the most extra man ever. Oh, we forgot about the most important part of his breakfast, the Mr. T cereal. He's like, "I pity the fool."
His Mr. T impression was so good.
But, and they just choose it super weird. But,
yeah.
Other fun characters, you got the biker gang. Not Satan's helpers, but the children biker gang.
Yeah.
We'll get to Satan's helpers later.
Yeah.
And then...
it's funny because I think they only had those kids in there just to be like, oh yeah, Pee-wee's cool. Like, we find him cool.
Yeah.
He's not just some dorky kid.
Well...
I feel like that's the whole town. Everyone, or like just everyone thinks that he's cool.
Like, they have to make him be like the most likable person ever. Because it's just like, oh yeah, neighbor loves Pee-wee. He's like, oh man, Pee-wee's with his shenanigans. He's gonna spray his lawn. And then there's Francis that's like, I want what you have. And showing that Pee-wee has the cool stuff. And then the biker gang's like, yo, he's the best biker in all town. And then Dottie's like, I love him. And then
just all the people that he meets on his adventures, they like him. I like it though. It's fun.
It's fun.
Like, it's what I'd hope would happen to like little kids, like just with like, I shouldn't say like just kids, but just anyone, just like everyone just being like, oh yeah, you're a pretty chill person.
Yeah.
Like, you're very extra, but that's what we love about you, and we'll just deal with it, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot about one character.
Who?
The magic shop owner.
Oh my gosh.
That was a fun little thing.
Uh-huh.
Just him seeing all the random gadgets
I
that he's going
love-
to use throughout the rest of the movie.
I love the whole bit, because I didn't realize this as a kid, but I remember it freaking me out, because I was like, oh, why do they have that? But when he's like, do you need a shrunken head? And he's like, no. Do you want a regular size head? No. And then he pulls out this humongous head.
And instead of saying, like, do you want this big head? He's like, whoa!
I remember that scaring me as
And
a
he's like,
kid.
ah!
I remember sitting there and being like, what? Why is there a big head?
Yeah, this movie has actually such, like,
It has
good
such
comedic timing for...
It's so good.
Yeah, like, it's funny as a kid, and it's still funny as an adult.
Yeah.
Like, but we can't forget, like, by far one of my favorite side characters that doesn't say anything. Well, you can't hear anything that he says, but it's Awesome Larry.
Oh my, no, Amazing Larry.
Amazing Larry.
He's so good.
So, like,
What
when...
does Pee-wee say to him? Oh no,
Yeah,
he's
well,
whispering to him like when they're talking.
Yeah.
He's like, you got something to say to us, Amazing Larry?
Yeah.
It's
So, like,
good.
after his bike gets stolen, he goes and brings everybody in town for a town meeting, being like,
I think it's all of his. I think it's all of his friends, because I would feel like that Francis and his dad would also be there. So I think it's just like all of the
Yeah.
nice people that they introduced in town and like gathered them in.
Yeah.
Like some extra people.
Amazing Larry just has like
It's just so good.
he's just a wild looking character. He's just like this older looking man with a
rainbow-
colorful mohawk.
Yeah, rainbow mohawk.
But it's like it has like
It's like in
ponytails
ponytails.
on all of them.
Yeah.
It's super funny.
I feel like his clothes weren't even that crazy too.
No, it was
Like,
just his
they were
hair.
Yeah, only his hair.
It was amazing. Thus giving him the name Amazing Larry.
Amazing Larry.
Yeah. So Pee-wee's going through his whole investigation scheme, and
Now this is a picture
Well,
of...
this-
This is a picture of the victims. And here's another picture of the victims. Do you see what the difference is with this one? My bike! He's so good. Oh
well, like
my.
he has like 2 billion freaking exhibits. I swear, he only gets to exhibit Q. But,
And it was 3 hours of that.
yeah. But before that, we should talk about the best scene in the entire movie. We skipped past the best part.
I thought that was after.
No, because after he goes
Oh my
on
gosh.
his rampage through the town and
Can we
meets
talk about the
Madam-
best line? Or one of the best lines?
Sure.
When he's at the police station.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, so why do the Soviets have to do, like, what do they have to do this? What's going on?
And I like how at the end of the movie, it's like, yeah, the Soviets took the M35 or whatever the bike is called.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
We gotta go to the best scene of the whole movie.
When he freaking goes and fights Francis.
Yeah, where his second confrontation with Francis, because when Francis comes up to him, he's a very civil man. He's like, I'm gonna give you money for your bike. And then
Pee-wee's like, no, it's not for sale.
And then the second confrontation is just Pee-wee
Unhinged Pee-wee
Yeah.
going to kill someone.
Yeah.
I love this
He's by
part.
far one of the most dangerous men that's ever existed.
They should make a new one, but it's directed by the same people that made John Wick.
Yeah. No, I'm convinced that
Someone's-
John Wick is just Pee-wee Herman.
I was about to say they should make someone should edit John Wick, but in the Pee-wee Herman suit. They're almost there. They just need to change the color of it and add a red bow tie.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Amy, we keep on skipping over it. The
I know.
gosh dang action sequence of the lifetime. Pee-wee versus Francis in Francis's bathtub, which
That's
is just
also a pool.
Like,
Okay,
this is where you find like the most childish moment of the entire movie is seeing Francis taking a quote-unquote bath in boxers, but having like a whole ship set, him putting toys in his mouth, spitting them out, and
him
then
pretending to be a water monster, attacking these ships and eating
Yeah.
people. It's so good.
he's such a
I
child.
love it because Dad was in the room at that part, and he was just laughing because he was like, "Oh yeah, the Francis is totally just like grabbing Pee-wee and just like making it look like he's flipping him over."
Yeah, but Pee-wee's suit just goes through so much. So like, Pee-wee just goes in to Francis's room, goes into the bathroom, like the literal bathroom, like it's just a pool.
Yeah.
Don't touch my hair.
Hold on, there's.
Pee-wee just goes in there and he's just like, Francis, where's my bike? Basically, and just
I love how he locks the door and he's like, "You're miles from where."
he's
Or
like, scream as loud as you can.
No one can hear you for miles.
And literally his dad and Oddjob are just on the other side of the door.
It's so good.
Pee-wee goes in there like an action star, straight up like John Wick would, just almost
John Wick
as
without his guns.
yeah. He just dives straight into the pool. Well, no, it's like a whole horror sequence. You see him underwater.
Yeah,
you
because
see
Francis hides underwater.
Yeah,
and then
you
he
see like
steps, and his feet just go in. He's like slowly walking to him.
and then he dives onto Francis.
Yeah,
and
no,
then
because he like goes into the pool, grabs his hair, pulls him out of the water, and he's like, "Where's my bike, Francis?" And he's like, "I don't know," or like he's like, "Dad, help me!" So then he like lets him go and runs and locks the door, and then that's when he like dives into the water to attack him. It's so good. Okay, I love when he like goes up to the door and he's like knocking on like the front door and it like goes along with the music. It's so good.
Yeah, and then he pulls out like the trick knocker.
Uh-huh.
We'll just skip ahead. That was a good scene. Then we got.
And this goes to Madame Ruby.
Yeah, well, you gotta. After Francis, then is like the town meeting where he goes through all the exhibits of the first exhibit being a picture of him and his bike, which are the two victims, and then the next picture is just him. He's like, now something's missing.
What is it?
Bike. and then it just skips on and on and on. And then Exhibit Q is just a whole diorama of the entire city.
No, it's the mall.
Oh, the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he loses the bike.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's a scary clown at the mall.
Oh my gosh. That scared me.
Oh, yeah, that was a scary thing.
Do we
want to
go through all of like the stuff that scared us at the end after we talk about the movie?
Yeah,
okay.
Or as time goes on.
Yeah. Because I totally forgot about that bike. Or not that bike, the clown.
Yeah.
So I remember that scaring me.
But we also have a scary part after the town's meeting where Pee-wee just goes out in the dark looking like an absolute monster.
Dude, I
just
love this part because like, so it's just like a dark alleyway and it's pouring rain and you just see like a big shadow like on like the back wall with his arms like to his sides like ready to get someone. He's like walking
like
up. Yeah, it's so
and then you
good.
just see that it's just Pee-wee just
like hunched over, like he looks like a little gremlin. It's so good.
And then this whole gang of guys are like, "What are you doing on our turf? We're gonna get you." And then he does by far one of the scariest things in the entire movie. He just goes, "Ah."
He's like, he like hisses at him.
Yeah, he hisses
and
at
it
them.
scares them.
And they just all run off. And
it's so good.
And then he knocks on not Madame Zeroni. I keep wanting to say Madame Zeroni.
No.
That's Holes. Madame Ruby.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I've come here to see you. And he's like, he's like, yeah, I'm here to see you. I need help finding something. And she's like,
no, she's like, oh, I can only take cash. You got cash? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, get in here.
Yeah, no checks or cards. Do you have cash? And he's like, yes. And he's like, that will do.
That will do, donkey.
That'll do, donkey. Then
that part, this part is so funny.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Like, it's so goofy and funny, and I love how, like, it all just comes together.
Mm-hmm. And then...
But yeah, she just kind of just, like, BS's all, like, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot that she steals his wallet.
Yeah.
And, like, keeps it.
Yeah. Well, she's just like...
Because she's, like, just looking through his photos, and she's like, I see a bicycle. And he's like, where is it? And she's like, calm down, please. Because he's, like, panicking, like, is it safe? Where is it? And she's like, it's okay. It's fine. It's okay.
Then she looks out the window to see this, like, car shop that says Al and Moe's. And she's like, it's in the Alamo. And then she sees right next to it is a basement. And she's like, it's in the basement of the Alamo. And he's like, the Alamo.
It's so good. I love her acting in this too, cause like she like just like if you just looked at her, like if you were Pee-wee and you were just staring at her, it would totally look like she was fibbing the whole time, cause she's like like looking around like where is it? It's so good.
Yeah. And then he goes on his first part of the adventure.
Okay, I love the part where he tries hitchhiking, because I love the cartoonish, like, steak with, like, the little, like, bag thing, like, the classic,
yeah.
like, oh, I'm getting out of here, that, and then his little, like, Texas sign.
Yeah.
And then he gets, like, a really big thumb to, like, get people to, like, stop for him.
Well, like, nobody stops for him, and it takes forever, and then he just, like, is on the ground.
Yeah, because he goes from, like, just standing there, like, all right, come on, guys, please pick me up, and then he goes to sit down, and then he's, like, laying down like he's dead.
Yeah.
And he's, like, kind of in the road, too.
And you can see cars, like, moving around him.
Yeah.
And then
I wonder how like, I want to know, like, how many of those cars were, like, real people driving by, or they were just, like, actors, like, driving by. I want to know, because that's so funny if they were, like, real people. But
then, Amy, we meet one of my favorite characters who everybody in this movie gets paid, like, are doing so much more than they probably needed to for acting. And
everyone goes all out.
They do not hold back, and I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Because we have our first confrontation. Man screeches his tires, backs up, and he's like, get in. And it's our favorite...
he's like starting to drive by, and then he like screeches to a halt, and Pee was like, oh yes, finally someone!
Yeah.
And like goes and runs up to him.
Yeah, and then you meet our fugitive convict, Mickey.
Mickey!
Yeah.
He's so good. I love
He's on the run because he broke out of jail or something.
Yeah, he broke out of jail because he got mad and cut off one of the tags that says "Do not remove" on a mattress, and that's what he went to jail for.
He's like, I did something pretty bad, Pee-wee. I took a knife. You know
those tags.
You know those tags that says on a mattress that says "Do not remove." I pulled out a knife and I cut it off.
I love it because, like, I sit here and I'm like, you know what? It's funny if they intentionally made it, like if that's what he actually did. But I also love the idea where he's like playing it off like, oh man, I'm gonna scare this kid. Like him looking at him as like a little kid and being like, I don't want to scare this kid and say that I murdered someone, so I'm just gonna say I took a tag off a mattress.
No, I think it's just a comedy thing, just being like, yeah, it's actually
just
what he did.
How the actor plays it though, it's like, I don't know, but I love it. I love not knowing, but then also knowing.
Pee-wee's also just like, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
He's like, I know, Pee-wee. That's why I'm on
What's
the
it
run.
like in the big house?
He's like, well, it's not that bad. You have your own room, your bed, you get to shower, lift weights, do games outside. It's the life. He's like, nah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, the part where they get past the police and they're dressed up is so good.
He's like, oh no, the police, we gotta turn around. He's like, no, I have an idea. They pull up and like all dressed up differently. And
he has Mickey?
Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey has like a total like Colonel Sanders look going on.
Yeah.
And he pulls it off real good though.
Yeah.
And then P was dressed up as like his wife.
Yeah, he has like
And
this.
it's so
he has like the feather
good.
coat, and like.
Oh, I didn't know he had a feather
That's
coat.
what, like the green, like that He had like a turquoise feathery or like furry looking coat.
Oh, okay.
And,
Because I remember
um,
him having like the long sweater with like the leggings under it. Dude, he looked real good like that though. He pulled it off.
Yeah.
He pulled it off real good. I thought, first off, the police officer being like, oh, ma'am, can you step out of the car real quick? And he's like, oh, yeah, I can do that. And Pee Wee, like, goes out and he's like, oh, well, why do you want me out of the car? And he's like, just so then I can get a better look at you. Which I'm like, first off, excuse me, sir, don't do that to me. And second off, as far as you know, her husband is right there in the car watching you do this.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Hayden's like, oh man, no way. Like, I loved Hayden's reaction to it.
It was
'Cause he's
so
just like, no way,
good.
that just happened.
But then after, when they're driving away, after Pee Wee gets back in the car and they're like, hey, have a nice day, okay, bye. They drive away. Mickey takes off the goatee and like the glasses and like,
unzips like he zips down like his jacket or whatever.
yeah. But then he like looks over at Pee Wee and Pee Wee's just like vibing and like enjoying himself and he gives him like a loving look, which is so funny because I sit there and I'm like, okay, if this was like a dad looking at a little kid, like I can see it being like that, like, oh man, this kid's pretty good at what he does. But oh my goodness. Okay, but just the loving look that he gives is so funny because I'm like, if they really wanted to, they could make it gay,
Yeah.
which is pretty good. Like, you can just make it into anything that you want, and it's so funny to me.
Well, that's
my favorite.
Pee-wee's superpower is that he can get any person to love him.
That's
Either
true.
romantically or
Platonically or romantically.
yeah, and Mickey was a romantic.
Oh boy, I hope so. This is the gay representation I need.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. And especially the part where he, like, kicks him out of the car. Okay, first off, before we get... I'm gonna hurry talk about that, but then I'm gonna go back. But, just the part where he, like where they go their separate ways. And just Mickey being like, listen, I like you a lot. But you can't be with me, because I'm a rebel.
Well,
He, like, whips that card out that Pee Wee did earlier.
yeah, because he said that to Dottie, and that's why he
I
doesn't
love
want to do stuff with her. And then all of a sudden, Mickey pulls out I'm a rebel. I'm a loner.
I'm a loner.
You
I'm
don't
a
wanna
loner,
get-
Pee Wee. Rebel.
You don't want to get stuck in. You don't want to get stuck in the lifestyle that I'm in or whatever.
Yeah, it's so good. Going back to, like, so it's like nighttime and Pee Wee's driving because they just like switched off. That whole part where he's driving
And doing all the
it's
wild
like,
turns.
yeah, all the crazy turns with all the signs and just how crazy that feels. That's how it feels when I drive. Just on a regular road. I'm so panicked.
Yeah.
And I've never felt so seen
Well, like,
in my whole life.
Well, first you see like the normal go 30 miles. It's a little like go 30 miles an hour around like these couple curves because it's a curvy road, and then all of a sudden it pulls out like a Need for Speed like mini map like tracks where it's just like looping and whatever, and it's just funny. But
Yeah, and then they just like go flying off a cliff. And I love how like Pee Wee's screaming and he like wakes up Mickey and he like he like peacefully like wakes up like, huh, what's happening? And then he's like, like he's like, no, we're gonna die. It's so good.
Then we get to the most scary part, like the most
No,
traumatizing moment of the entire movie.
First there's like him walking in the dark, and they have like little animated eyes, which is so fun. I love that. I remember liking that as a little kid too, being like, oh man, I love how they just did like only his eyes, and they did so many good expressions of him.
Well, I remember it being like, this is a stupid scene. Like, as a kid, I'm like, this is so dumb. I don't get it. I don't understand what they did. But then he's just like, it's dark in here. Let me put on my glasses. And then,
dude, when he puts on his glasses and they like flash a light and there's a bunch of animals around him and he screams, that part scared me for some reason when I was a kid.
I just thought it was stupid. I'm like, this is a waste of time. And then it got to the scariest part of the movie. Large Marge. This truck comes up, and it's this big old diesel truck.
Like a semi?
Yeah, a semi truck. And
this lady picks him up
and just tells him a story. It's like, this night 10 years ago it was the worst accident I've ever seen. And tells the story of like, there was no survivors, there was whatever, and then
she looked like this.
Yeah, and when they saw the body, it looked like this, and then
they dragged the cold, dead body out from the wreckage. It looks like this.
And then by far the thing that like scared me in the
stop
most
motion
was the Tim Burton-esque like scary face and so cackling good. Like weird laugh, and for some reason Pee-wee just like screams for a sec, and then they keep on driving like nothing happened. Yeah,
because after it's funny because like then she like turns away from him and she's like, yes sir.
It was the worst accident I've ever seen.
And then she drops him off at a bar. Truck stop.
Or like at a truck stop, and it's just like, tell them that Large Marge sent you. And then drives away.
She's so good. I hope that she lived her best life after that movie, knowing that she scared a bunch of kids and did the best that she could.
Yeah,
I'm proud of her.
That was like the most traumatizing thing as a kid was the Large Marge, and then I remember Mom saying, "Yeah, I remember you guys would always rewind it to that part just over and over and over again." I'm like,
oh, that was totally Jake that did that. We wouldn't do that.
I know for sure it was Jake and Taylor that did that, and Mom laughed and she's like, yeah, it totally was. Because
that's so good.
Yeah. Older brothers, am I right?
Am I right, ladies?
Pee-wee just goes into the truck stop and is just like, Large Marge sent me, and everybody just stopped what they're doing, looked at him, and just like, Large Marge
sent you.
Yeah, Large Marge sent me. Large Marge died 10 years ago in the worst car accident I've ever seen.
The anniversary is today, and then they say it, and he's like, well, that means that the Large Marge I was driving with was her ghost.
Yeah, well, everybody else was like, her ghost.
Yeah. And then his like big like
yeah, and then you see like a memorial thing.
And then her laughing in the background too.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But then he meets Simone after figuring out that he can't pay for his shake because Madame Ruby took his wallet.
So then he went to go work and do dishes.
And then Simone is just talking about how she has all these dreams of going to France.
I love how at the very end when like he's like when they're all like when all of his friends that he met along the way are at the drive-in. And she just speaks French the whole time.
Just so you know that she went to France.
Mm-hmm. I like the whole bit of them in the dinosaur's mouth. like them just like talking about their dreams and
Yeah.
like what they want to do with their life.
And
Which I totally missed out on that conversation because I was with Delilah.
it was funny. It was funny because Simone's just like, have you ever had a dream? And he's like, yeah, last night I had a dream about a snake wearing a vest and a donut wrapped around him. He's like, no, not one of those kind of dreams.
I was
Like,
there.
what do you want to do? What do you dream of doing in your life? And then he's just like, well, I don't know. I just want my bike.
I
You
love
see
it.
out in the distance, good old
Andy.
Andy, not from Toy Story. Probably Andy when he gets older.
Poor Andy.
Yeah, Andy just sees Simone, his girlfriend,
Well,
go
he
with
sees
Pee Wee,
into the dinosaur.
go into the dinosaur.
And it's
room.
like at night when they first show him.
Yeah,
Because he's like getting gas or something. And he watches him go into the dinosaur.
yeah.
And then just like whatever things they're saying makes it sound like
There's
there's other stuff happening.
gonna be some relations.
Yeah. Which is so funny because like Andy's like down by like the door where like by the feet and they're in the mouth and somehow he can hear them.
Probably because it's echoey, Amy.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they walk out and it's like in the morning and Andy grabs like a bone, like a fake bone, and like goes to kill Pee-wee.
Yeah, Andy tries to commit murder, then he just
And then
he
killed
runs
the
away
dog.
from him, and that's by Simone and say hello to a train.
oh yeah. That part was so funny when they're like when he's on the train with the hobo and they're just singing like a bunch of songs.
Like nursery rhymes or whatever.
Yeah, like it's funny because at first you can see like Pee was like, oh yeah, this is fun, I'm vibing to this, and then it like cuts to later and he's like, I'm getting kind of bored of this, and then later on he's like, oh, I hate this, and then he just jumps off the train. It's so
Because
good.
he gets so annoyed with that. He just, as soon as Jimmy Crack Corn comes out.
He's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
So he hops off the train, and you know where he ends up? Right in front of a sign that says Texas, home of the Alamo.
Oh, nice.
And then you find the most eccentric Alamo tour guide you'll ever meet.
I love how all the Texans were wearing cowboy hats and just looked like cowboys.
Yeah.
That was their whole personality, which is cowboy. His
Um,
voice being sketchy, I don't like it.
yeah, I don't like this either. Guys, if we die, you know
We
we'll
got
just
it
all
on
die.
recording.
Yeah.
Got it on the records.
Yeah.
Hayden, you better post this. We can make good money off of this.
We'll be dead. We won't be making any money from it.
Podcast people die on set. Yeah, so then he goes to the Alamo, finds out there isn't a basement, and then
Yeah.
he runs into Simone, who's like, oh, I'm taking the bus to Paris, and he's like, oh, good job, and then she's like, au revoir.
Au revoir, Pee-wee.
And then Andy chases him again, and then he gets into the best outfit ever,
Yeah.
where he becomes a cowboy.
And rides in a
I
rodeo.
love it because they totally like they did a good job of just like, all right, we're gonna like extra cover you up just in case, like just so Andy doesn't see you, but we're also gonna use it so then we can just put the stunt double in it
Yeah.
and just like have him on the bull and not you.
Yeah.
And it's so good. I love it. I thought it was so funny how they were like, well, he's going for the state record. Oh, now he's going for a world record. And then he like falls off the bull and gets knocked out. And then Andy comes up to like finish him off, and then he's wearing a red shirt.
And then he looks down at his shirt, looks up at the bull's ready to charge, and he's like, oh crap,
I gotta go.
and hops over the fence, and then you have the cut shot.
The worst jump cut ever.
Yeah. It
was so good.
Yeah. But like they totally got the bull jumping over the fence though.
Yeah, I don't know what they did wrong. I feel like they just had like a
I think
black
it was
screen
just-
in between
I think
the
they-
two cuts.
I think they just had him jump over it, cut it, and then waited for the
The bull
bull, and then kept on recording once the bull hopped over.
Yeah. But yeah, so then they take him to the hospital. And is this the dream? Is this the dream where he, like, his bike gets eaten by a dinosaur?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Or was that the night before?
He gets his bike.
Because I know it gets
'Cause,
eaten by a
like,
dinosaur, like,
yeah,
around that part.
Well, he falls asleep on the train. That's where he has the dream about
yeah.
the dinosaur coming and eating the bike.
Oh yeah, and then the hobo's like, he like wakes him up and he's like, "Want a sardine?" He's like, "No, thank you."
Yeah, but when he's at the hospital, he has another dream where all the medics come in to fix the bike that had just been torn up.
I thought that was later on.
No, it's
Like when he I thought he goes to the hospital again.
oh, that's yeah. He does go to the hospital again.
Okay. Oh
so
no.
wait,
No! He doesn't go to the hospital once he like gets off the bull. He's like, "Do you know who you are? No. Do you know where you are? No. Well, what do you remember?"
Well, no,
I
he's
remember
like, do
the
you remember?
Alamo.
He's like, do you remember who you are? Do you know what day it is? And he's like, do you know where you are? He's like, do you know where you are? And he's like, the Alamo. And everybody in Texas are like, yeah!
Everyone in Texas.
Everybody's like, he remembered the most important thing out there.
Yeah,
the Alamo.
the
The Texans were nuts. They were too
So good.
patriotic.
I think he calls Dottie. And like,
Well, because he tries to
that's
drive
when-
home, but he finds out it's not at the Alamo.
Yeah, I think
Then
he
the
calls.
bull thing happens. Then does he go back to drive home? And
I think
sees the
bike on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
I think that's when he's like gonna call Dottie. Cause I'm trying to think.
Because he goes to the.
Cause then he sees his bike on TV,
Well,
so then he tries to go to Hollywood. No, because then after he sees it,
because he.
I remember what it was. He goes to the bar with the what is it? The hell,
Oh wait.
the devil's helpers.
At the bus station, Pee Wee encounters Simone, who tells him she broke up with Andy and she's on her way to Paris. And tells Pee Wee not to give up searching for his bike. Pee Wee then calls Dottie and apologizes for what he's done, and then asks for money to take the bus home. Then Andy spots him and runs away.
Yeah, because Andy was gonna go to France to stop Simone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess after he finds out he's in Texas, then it cuts to him going to the bar,
Okay.
like to the biker bar.
Yeah. What are they called?
Satan's Helpers.
Satan's helpers.
He walks in, he's like trying to use the phone, and everybody's being super loud, and he's like, I'm trying to make a phone call!
I'm trying to use the phone.
That's the line.
And then they kill him.
and he's like,
And then there's Biker Mama.
yeah, biker mama.
So good.
Well, they're
I
like,
say we kill him.
I say we hang him, then we kill him. And then whatever he says, like, we're gonna tie him up, we're gonna cut him, then we'll hang him, then we'll kill him.
And then Biker Mama comes up and she's like, I say you let me have him first. And everyone's like, yeah! What people? And then I love how Pee Wee's like, don't I get a last request? And they're like, I don't see why not.
Yeah, and then he just goes up and looks at the chef, turns on a song, and is just like, hey, can
Sir,
I borrow
can I-"
your shoes? And you see him like drop down like 3 feet, hand him like these platform heels
That's
that
so
he puts
good.
on.
I
And
love it because the platforms aren't even like that big.
yeah, you can
Like they're
tell that
probably
he
like
just
2 inches.
you can tell
But he
that
went
he,
down
like-
like 3 feet.
Yeah, you can tell that he just stepped down from like a platform, handed him the shoes, and then
It's so good.
yeah,
Then he does the most classic thing of this movie, next to Large Marge and the beginning, like breakfast scene, where he dances to Tequila,
yeah.
and everyone vibed to it, even though
Yeah.
he did the same dance move the whole time.
Well, they were gonna kill him
Uh-huh.
because they threw him out of the. I forgot to say this. He got thrown out after trying to use the phone, and then
He bumped into
to
the
bike
bike,
and did
which
the,
it
did
looked
the
so purposeful. It was so funny. He did it like in spite of them.
yeah. Then
Yeah,
they
then he-
threatened to kill him.
Yeah, and then he wins him over with his epic dance moves.
Yeah.
And then I love how they give him like a biker vest and a bike. And like, I want to say biker mama like kisses his cheek and they're like, yeah, go find your bike, Pee-wee. And then he like tries to drive off to the sunset, but then runs into the sign
Yeah.
and goes to the hospital. And I think that's when he has his dream
Yeah.
about the...
The clowns taking
The-
his bike in to get fixed.
Uh-huh.
And then the one normal guy you see is wearing like a mask, and
then
then
he
he pulls
pulls
it
it
down
down.
to see, like, to show like an evil like clown
Clown.
smile.
Which he went all out for that
Yeah.
too.
All these guys were professional clowns, and it was good.
Dude, he had a really good scary laugh.
Oh yeah,
That was
I
really
remember
good.
he was so scary as
Yeah.
a kid.
I remember the clowns, but I didn't remember like Francis as the devil and all of like all
Yeah.
the little demons like cheering him on because they lifted up the bike and they were burning it alive. And
Well,
Francis is
yeah.
like, "Give it more!" and they were
like-
lighting on fire.
It's like more. They just blow up his bike.
It's
And that
so
was
good.
yeah, that's a terrible description of what happens, but it happens.
That's another-
the doctor clowns come in, traumatize me as a child, and then hook up his bike. The bike is lifted up and set into the devil's cauldron and just blows up.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Pee-wee wakes up and the TV's on and it shows this actor like it shows this kid being like, "Oh yeah, you got the bike." Which that's kind of confusing. I think they just wanted to have him on the Warner Brothers lot for the fun of it.
Well, because they're the Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Well, true, I guess.
Yeah. Because
But it felt
he
like-
wakes up in the hospital, goes and sees on television that the bike is being used as a prop in a movie starring a bratty child named Kevin Morton.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, like, because I remember, like, even watching it last night, but, like, times before when I watched it, when it showed the kid with the bike, they made it seem like he got the bike.
Yeah.
But then later on, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're using it as a prop for this show where this orphan kid gets a bike, but then he gives it away because he has family now."
He gives it away because he's
nice.
Because he's a nice kid, but come to find out, Kevin Morton is an absolute worst devil child who hates all of his coworkers, and is just like Chris Evans' character from Scott Pilgrim,
Oh my gosh!
where he's just like, action, before the director says it, and he's like, okay, fine.
It's so good. Nah, this kid's worse. But yeah, so then he runs over to Hollywood, which he doesn't really have any adventures going from Texas to Hollywood. He just appears there. But yeah, then you get to see all the fun stuff.
Yeah, you see
That part was-
Pee-wee go in, dress up as a nun, steal the bike.
That
and-
part was so funny because he's like, I gotta take it, but also I just can't just steal it now. I gotta play the part for a second.
I gotta wait for the right time. And
I
he's just
just-
like, I'm just so excited to give this bike away back to the orphanage. He's like, well, don't mind if I do. I'm gonna go do a paper route. And then rides away. And he's like, that's not the line. And he's like, get him! Get that done!
The director.
And then cue the Wizard of Oz. Like,
so
like
good.
everybody riding away, the golf
Dude.
cart patrol driving around. Pee-wee, he goes through all these different sets. He goes through
Godzilla.
Well, first he goes through the
like the
beach scene,
Uh-huh.
and then you go to was it then Santa Claus?
Yeah.
And then Santa
then-
Claus goes to Godzilla,
Yeah.
and then Godzilla
goes
then
to Tarzan. Because they swing over the thing. Or
Or
do,
do they go to the Twisted Sister music video after that?
Yeah, they go to Twisted
Twisted
Sister
Sister.
because that's when they lose both the sleigh and the boat car,
Yeah,
the boatmobile.
yeah.
And then he goes to Tarzan, swings on the vine, and goes over the river.
Yeah.
And then the
Well,
bike.
that little chase scene is just fun because like it's not all these guys in golf carts, and then all of a sudden you have to change it up a little bit. So one of the guys crashes his golf cart, has to switch to the boat car, who's pulling the people on the surfboards. And
I
then,
thought it was just like a prop.
well, yeah.
Well, I didn't know that there were people on surfboards.
Well, it was
'Cause
supposed to
then-
be people on surfboards because they have like the little like wire with the handles on it.
Oh.
And then they fall off in the Santa Claus. Then those things hook
I
onto
think-
the reindeer.
Yeah.
So the boat pulls the reindeer, the sleigh,
Uh-huh.
and then they go into the Godzilla thing. Godzilla is hanging off the
Hangs
dragon.
off of Ghidorah.
Ghidorah.
And then falls
Falls
into the
off.
sleigh.
Yeah, and then Santa and Godzilla are hitting it off. They probably went to dinner afterwards and
They
kissed
made
each
out
other.
the whole time.
Yes, that's a romance. That's a romance plot that I wish we saw.
Best ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they go to Twisted Sister. They crash into the Twisted Sister car, saying that they're gonna burn in hell and whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Then boys on bikes come in and start chasing them.
yeah.
Like motorcycle bikes.
And then they go on to the Tarzan set, and then you hear people go, "Ah!"
The
And
classic.
then he flies across this,
He like goes over a river.
yeah,
or
swinging on a
lake.
vine with his bike in between his legs.
Mhm.
And then you see the motorcycle guys just fly into the water. And then then they get to the pet store, which is such a good comedy
Dude,
sequence too.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And then they meet Speck's girlfriend, the pink dog.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could be a boy too.
Well, it's
a dog.
It's Dottie's. It's soon to be Dottie's dog.
Yeah.
But there's a fire that happens in the pet store, and he goes in, saves all the pets, saving.
And somehow there's a monkey in there.
This is our monkey friend. Our monkey friend came and saved the.
This is Freddy.
Yeah, this is Freddy.
Freddy.
I don't think its name is Freddy, but he's our
No,
favorite.
I'm just thinking
Oh,
of
you're thinking
the-
the ASMR video?
Yeah. Monkey ASMR, so good.
Yeah, if you're just
Freddy
looking
and
for,
Prince are best boys.
Yeah, if you want a good monkey video, look up orangutan ASMR.
But yeah, he saves all the animals. He passes out and he's like the fire department comes right as he like falls to the ground and he's like, there's still a few goldfish in there that I couldn't
And
get.
the firemen are like, he's a hero. And then the police officer who are there, he just stole a bike. He's a criminal.
He's a menace. I
I
think
don't
the
know what
Warner,
happens after that.
the Warner Brothers director's like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
they-
your story. Let's
well,
make a movie out of it.
I think they arrest him, and then he's taken to like the police station.
I think it's
or
like
he's
the-
like the
it's like the
security
Warner-
room,
yeah,
the
it's
Warner
like the Warner
Brothers
Brothers-
security.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Director Man himself goes up.
Mr. Warner Man.
Yeah, Mr. Warner Brother himself.
One of the Warner Bros.
But Terry Hawthorne is like the president of Warner Brothers at the time, and And
Was that actually him though?
I think so.
Dude, I love that.
Or at least that's what the character's name is Terry Hawthorne. It could be really him. And
That'd
he's
be
like,
pretty good, though.
he's like, we heard about your story and we want to make it into a movie. And then they cut to him going to the drive-in movie, and you see everybody's friends again.
You see everyone because
yeah.
he first goes to.
He first goes to.
Oh, he goes to Hawthorne and
it's Terry. Gives him a hot dog, a chili dog.
Yeah, and then does he go to the hobos and gives them all like a snow cone?
Yeah.
And then goes to. Does he go to Mickey first or the biker gang first?
I think he goes to Mickey. I think he does it in order of like people who. Oh, actually no, they do. It's
do
Terry,
they do it backwards?
It's Terry, hobos. Yeah, it's
no, because biker gang's last.
Yeah,
because he's
Terry,
they're
hobo,
right before
Mickey. Then biker gang, then Simone, then Dottie.
Yeah, because he got him French fries. No,
yeah.
I think Simone was before the biker gang, because like.
Oh yeah, because he has like a whole thing.
Yeah, because then
and
he
takes
grabs
his two.
He grabs the 2 boxes of candy, puts them in his pocket, and like throws like the rest of it. in the air.
He hands the rest. He just hands the box over. He throws the candy in the air when he gets to Dottie.
No, there's the box that has stuff in it. He grabs the boxes of candy, puts it in his pocket, throws it up at the biker gang. They all like go to grab for it. And then he goes to Dottie, and she's like, "Oh, did you give me my food?" And he's like, "Oh, what stuff?" And like throws it at her.
Yeah. And then we get Phil
Hartman.
Yeah, we get Phil Hartman with Francis, who does the Flash scene from Spider-Man No Way Home, where he's just like, "Yeah, I'm best friends with Peter Parker." But
I'm best friends with Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, like, Pee Wee Herman's my best friend. He lets me ride his bike all the time.
Let's get photos of it.
He's like, isn't that right, Pee Wee?
Pee Wee.
Yeah, and then he's like, I guess you're right.
And then he sits on the bike and he blasts him off into the air.
Yeah.
And then the reporters are like, "Guess we'll leave, I guess."
Yeah, guess we'll leave. We won't talk to the headlining person.
Yeah, we won't talk to the man that made the story.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
The movie's so good. I love it.
Yeah, the movie, it just ends up showing like a James Bond-esque like movie where he loses his bike, and it's like an adventure with.
His name is P.W. Herman.
Yeah, P.W. Herman and Dottie.
Yeah.
Like Dottie's in is in a bright blue like jumpsuit thing, and then
she has like big hair.
Yeah, like Farrah Fawcett hair or something,
Yeah.
and then Pee-wee. Well, P.W. is in a Pee-wee suit.
Yeah.
And then
the bike is just like a super nice red motorcycle.
Yeah, it's like a Motorola motorcycle.
I thought it was so funny how they like they're driving, they stop, Dottie leans up against a tree and PW like comes and like kisses her, and then they get attacked by ninjas.
Yeah.
And one of them, and the acting is so bad, but it's so fun.
But that's the point.
It's
is
so
to make
good.
the actual like it's supposed to be like bad. That's like
Yeah.
the point, to show that it's fake and not a real movie.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, and then they made it elaborate.
Yeah.
Like how they made Chicken Little like a sci-fi superhero movie.
Yeah, and then instead they make Pee-wee into James Bond.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Pee-wee's like, let's get out of here. Even though Dottie's been talking about going to the drive-in like for half the movie. Like whenever they talk, she's like, "Oh yeah, when are we gonna go into the drive-in?" And he's like,
He's like, "I'm a loner and a rebel. Get the heck out of here. We're not going over there."
It's Steve-O.
Yeah.
Steve-O is Pee-wee Herman. But yeah, and then Dottie's like, but wait, don't you want to watch the movie? And he's like, I don't have to watch it. I lived it. And then they leave.
It was the most selfish thing a man could say.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to finish the movie. I know how it ends.
Which, his cameo in the movie is so good. Mr. Herman, Mr. Herman.
He's like,
you can tell that he was so excited.
Yeah. Well, he does like the whole thing. He does like you can see that he acts like he's not a good actor.
Yeah.
Because he's like mouthing what PW is saying.
Yes.
And he's like looking at the camera and then looks back.
He looks up at the camera but then quickly looks away. Like, is it funny? Because I feel like I sit there and I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally see him like looking at the camera, and then the director being like, Pee-wee, stop looking at the camera, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Well, then you see him out of shot, and you see him move into shot just to stand there.
And just watch him.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love
hilarious.
it.
So that's basically the movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a lot more stupid, and I wasn't going to be a big fan of it watching it, just be bored. Yeah. But it was so fun.
It was super fun.
It was a fun little movie to see again.
Yeah.
But
definitely a fun rewatch.
Yeah. Because basically, we brought this up because we're like, oh, we're going to watch traumatic movies that we remember as a child.
Yeah.
And
I feel like this movie, there weren't too many scary things, at least for me.
Yeah. Like there was that one pop-up scene with Large Marge. And
I know that one's like a classic for a lot of people that like got traumatized by this movie.
Or like the trick clown that like pulls down his mask and you find out he is a clown.
That part scared people too.
Yeah.
Those two were like the big things that scared people.
And I remember always being uncomfy with the statue at the beginning.
Oh yeah, when like he first loses his bike and he looks at all of, like the bits of chain on the ground, and then he looks up at the clown and it's laughing at him with this evil smile. That scared me.
Yeah.
That scared me.
I remember always being uncomfy with that scene.
Yeah. I think Large Marge made me uncomfortable, but when he puts on the goggles right before Large Marge would scare me for some reason.
I just thought it was stupid as a kid.
Well, it's just so dumb because, like, I also sit here like, man, I love animals. I should like that part just to, like, pause it and look at all the animals. Mm-hmm. But it just, like, loud noise spooked me. And that was it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Anything else that we should talk about in this movie?
I don't think so. Well,
this has been fun. I never know how to stop these. But
yeah. Thanks for watching.
Hey, do you hear that? She's right behind you and above you.
Boo.
Okay, sit down.
Drink. Stand up. Drink. Lie down. Drink.
Go to bed. Drink. Eat something. Drink. My mouth's
dry.
Drink. I really gotta pee.
Drink.
Wait, no, I don't want to.
Drink.
No! No!
Drink.
Okay.
Well, hey, this is the outro.
No, you don't need. Or you can just start with, hey, thanks for watching, everybody.
Hold on. Hey, guys.
Hey, thanks for listening to our episode today. It's been a fun one. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to follow us on Instagram. Woo-woo! We're at AJS_podcast. Amy, what do you have?
I have an art Instagram. You can do commissions and all that stuff at Babby_Yammy.
Sweet. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review. Do whatever you can to help support us. You can even send us a message online, and we'll hopefully respond back to you. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Love you, bye!